Hey, listen, does your water kettle look like this, full of scale? Well, we can help you fix that here on Bean Basics. Oh, hey there. Welcome to Bean Basics with Bob and Michelle. Welcome to sunny Saugatuck and welcome to the Obus Lab. Hey, listen, today we're talking about a water kettle. And we're talking about scale buildup, calcium buildup on a water kettle, which is always inevitable. And you know, the one way to treat scale is to add a little acid. Add a little light acid to it. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to do today. So the things that you're going to need today are a knife, some kind of scrubbing tool. I have not an old toothbrush, but a toothbrush that my dentist gave me that's still kind of on the new side, never been used. We need some kind of bottle scrubber, but if you don't have that, you could feel free to use a little scrubby and some tongs. And by the way, you'll need the tongs to get the lemons, and we're going to talk about lemons in just a moment, out of the kettle. So let me also talk about the various things that we could use in descaling. As I mentioned, it's a light acid. There are manufactured products. This one is made by Ernex. And you know, the nice thing about this kind of product is that it will basically hold your manufacturer warranty in place, right? So that might not be so important on a standard kettle like this, but maybe on your Stag, you know, that costs $149, that's something that you would want to consider. The other thing that could be used is a little light vinegar, and the other thing that could be used is some lemon juice. And although all these are very acceptable, there's just a lot of manufacturing, a lot of plastic and bottle and parts that go on with this, and I prefer just a much more natural method, which I think I already gave away, which is to use a lemon. And you know, it just takes no measurement to know that you need to use one lemon to go ahead and do one kettle. And the way we do it is we start off first by just simply bruising the lemon, and then we're going to cut it in half, and we're going to get our kettle, our whole kettle assembly up here, and get some water in the kettle because we're going to boil this. So we're going to fill it up with some water. And we're going to add our lemons, but we're going to squeeze that lemon juice in there and drop the whole lemon in, and squeeze that lemon juice in there and drop that whole lemon in, seal it up, and go ahead and get it started. And we're going to bring that to the boil. And as you know, this kettle will shut off on its own. The same thing would happen with the Stag brewer, the Stag kettle. But we're going to bring this to the boil, and when we do, we're going to let that sit afterwards for about 2 to 3 hours. It might need to be overnight if the scale buildup was really big, but we'll come back and show you how to clean this in a few hours. But for us, it's just going to be a minute. Okay, so we let this come to the boil, and it's now sat for about 2 hours. And if we've done it right, the acid's going to do all the work for us. But I'm going to go ahead and get my lemons out first. And then we're going to go ahead and take our toothbrush. And this might have more application on a gooseneck, but we're going to just sort of scrub the spout area a little bit and along the edges and up underneath here. But theoretically, the acid has done its work. We're also going to take our bottle brush, and by the way, this one's very pliable. It can be bent in any particular direction. I have bent it so I can get it through here and scrub the bottom so it's pretty flat, and I can scrub the bottom and I can scrub the sides, and my goal is to get into the corners here and so on. But I shouldn't have to scrub too much because, again, the acid should have released the calcium pretty easily. And If you don't have a bottle brush, that's no big deal. You can go ahead and throw this sponge in and use your tongs and kind of push it around a little bit to create some abrasion. You don't want to use that scrubby side too much. You don't want to scratch the stainless at the bottom or the glass and so on. All right, and at this point we should be pretty well set. I'm going to give it a little bit of a swirl and dump out our water. And we'll see. I mean, I'm thinking this is going to be pretty darn clean. I'm looking at it here. I don't see any calcium. I know, it's pretty amazing. I'm going to go ahead and just wipe out the inside of it a little bit here and give you a little demo about how shiny it can get and how beautiful, brand new it can look when you're done.
If I hadn't seen it myself, I would have thought you bought a new kettle. Wow.
It's worth it, right? One lemon, a few hours, not a lot of work. It's easy to do. It's easy to keep your kettle clean. That's what descaling is all about. All right, that's all the time we have for. But before we go, we want to leave you with this one note. And that is, when you love the world will love you right back. Hey, thanks for joining us. For future episodes, click the subscribe button. Being Basics is brought to you by OneBigIslandInspace.com with 2 G's.